Letter to Disneyland. That one too. Seriously. Tanaya, can you just tell us like the whole story behind it before you perform that? Yeah.
Okay. Letter to Disney was it was inspired again by Disney. A lot of as we're growing up, we tend to watch a lot of Disney movies. Everyone wants to be a princess, and everyone wants to find Prince Charming, or I guess every female, sorry, wants to find Prince Charming and get married and live happily ever after. And it's not to say that I don't believe that is, you know, an option, you know, but I think Disney kind of portrays certain things that I don't think are necessarily correct. And I think sometimes, you know, as older people, as parents, we don't necessarily look into what we're letting our children watch. So it was just kind of my challenge to Disney to say, well, these are certain things that I've picked up from what you've been portraying, and what's your feedback, or what's your response? But
all right.
Yeah.
So talking about Prince Charming, I want to know, you single, married, or you're searching?
I'm single at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
You're single?
I am.
But you're searching?
Searching, I don't know if searching's the right word.
Are you?
I don't know if that's the right thing to put out on television. But yeah, I'm single.
You're single?
I'm single.
Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. But then again, personally, is this something that you are looking towards doing for the rest of your life, or is it just a part-time thing that you're doing?
I would love to be able to do spoken word full-time. I mean, there are other things that I'm interested in. I'm interested in business, etc. But in terms of from a creative perspective, I would love for spoken word to be able to kind of fully support me. I mean, at this point, it's like I have kind of performed in other places and done other things, but at this point, spoken word in itself is not able to kind of do that. But I would love to get to a point where I can, where I know that it can sustain me. Okay. But regardless, I would write, regardless of whether or not there's money in it or not.
Wow. Okay, that's what's up. Okay, so what I want to ask you is your look, the afro, and you know, so many people keep saying like you look like a Nigerian, but what I want to know is, are you inspired by someone?
I do get a lot of comments, should I say, on on my hair. I used to have relaxed hair at one point, and then I decided to go natural, but I didn't kind of go natural as a kind of power to the people, start a revolution kind of thing. It was because I felt like natural hair was a healthier option for me. I mean, I don't necessarily judge anyone that has relaxed hair, but it was a healthier option for me. But I think I actually find it quite strange that, particularly in Gambia, in Africa, we have a weird reaction to an afro, because like an afro is like natural hair. Surely everyone should be wearing an afro as far as I'm concerned. But no, it's not necessarily because I've seen anyone that I particularly like that has an afro. I just really enjoy wearing an afro, and I get mixed feedbacks. I get, you know, the bombsters that think I'm Jamaican. I get people that are like, you know, I love the afro, or I get people that are like, when are you gonna relax your hair? And it's like,
okay,
you win some, you lose some.
All right. So you personally, what if I should like ask you, what kind of advice will you give to youths of the Gambia? What will it be?
I would say find your passion. Find whatever it is that you're passionate about. I mean, I know that not everyone is an academic. Yeah. Not everyone is going to excel in school. But I know that particularly here, I know that it's difficult because there isn't as many avenues for the arts. Okay. But I think if academia is not your thing, then if you can sing, if you can dance, if you can write, if whatever it is that you can do, I think you should go for it wholeheartedly. Even if it's that you want to kind of be a rubbish collector, then own a rubbish company or whatever it is. I think you should just be passionate about whatever you love. Okay.
All right, then we'll have a short break. After the short break, we'll let you do your last.
Dear Disney, like with any babysitter that I would allow to sit and watch my kids while they sit and watch them, I'd like to have a conversation with you, just so that I'm assured that anything that I enforce you will only reinforce and there'll be no confusion, because Disney, I teach my kids that physical beauty, it is only skin deep. But if your spirit is beautiful, then it will radiate through your pores like eternal life, unstoppable, and you'll be unable to hide your light. And I guess you agree, because having flicked through the many scenes of your CV, I see that you too teach that physical beauty and social standing are not particularly important, particularly if you're a man. Because Princess Jasmine married a street kid. Lady hooked up with an actual tramp, and even Belle was able to look past the beast, finding the beauty within, but no one was ever checking for those ugly stepsisters, regardless of their personality. I mean, you teach that if you look good, that must mean that you do good. But if you don't meet some kind of predetermined quota, then you must be the bad guy, depicting characters like Jafar with darker skin, thicker lips, and thicker noses. We know that charm, it is deceitful, and beauty, it's passing, yet we're still raising Prince Charming with a Peter Pan complex, so he never wants to land himself on the throne as king. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of us all? We're all made in God's image, but who is the fairest of us all? Future's not bright enough, because she isn't quite light enough. You'd rather make Princess Tiana green with envy than dark like ebony, and you wonder why little black girls have identity issues. Issue me that big issue. I am just trying to be the change that she is begging for. Mirror, mirror. You've got these kids afraid to look in the mirror. So ghetto princes draw swords, now shanks up to magic mirrors. They hold guns up to magic mirrors, holding guns up to their reflection. It's like they're holding guns up to themselves, and before you know it, all they're left with is broken glass, shattered dreams, and no hope of ever becoming king. So I'd raise her as queen. Checkmate. Because little princess, walking in those dainty slippers will have you walking on broken glass and shattered dreams. I couldn't stand to see her hurt, so I would teach her that even a knight in the shiniest of armor will only ever compliment you, never ever complete you, because she has to be whole all by herself. Mirror, mirror. Perhaps if these mothers, princes and princesses of Disneyland had their mothers to teach them, they might know better. But instead, you kill off all the mothers in some kind of tragic mishap, rendering the family a unit with which I am unfamiliar, because in fact, she is fatherless. Now your fiction has left her motherless. So somewhere between reality and perception, you have orphaned her like Annie with no daddy Warbucks to save the day, but you won't tell that story. You see, the mothers that I know are very much there, working graveyard shifts with callous palms and tricky hips, because forget postcode wars. Ends, they have no alternative but to meet, so they travail. None of this, you stay in your ends and I'll stay in my ends, and never the end shall meet. Do you wonder why we duck and dive below poverty lines? Mirror, mirror. Now Disney, if I was to give you this honor, if I was to give you this privilege, what would you teach my sons? What could you possibly teach my daughters? Would you teach them the power of this spoken word? That life and death is in their tongue. Would you teach them wisdom? Or would you continue to be their pilot on these fictitious flights of fantasy? Yours sincerely, a future mother. Thank you. My name's Tanaya Sonko. You've been listening to Spoken Word on BNL. Thank you.
Thumbs up to Tanaya, kontaan si moom bu baax a baax yéen a gis lii waa Gambia ñi nga xamante ne ñu ngi nekk ndawi réew mi ñi nga xamante ne ñu ngi bëgg a di def fi spoken words kontaan naa si Tanaya bu baax a baax di wax xale yi nga xamante ne ñu ngi seetaan te ñu bëgg a roy si moom def leen ni moom rek ngeen gën a góorgóorlu incha allah dina baax fu mu nekk ni duñ def dara lu dul ñu dem straight si suñ video of the week bu ñu leen di faral di defar every week this week nag MLK lañ ko jox nañ seetaan video boobu rek we'll be right back. People, I'm not telling, but I'm going to check us, be them,